All right, let's dive right in. If you're involved in academic research, you know the workflow can be a real grind. Today, we're going to build a modern toolkit, a whole new generation of really powerful tools designed to upgrade that entire process, from the moment you start looking for papers all the way to sharing your final work. But first, does this feel familiar? You kick off a new project, you're super excited, and then bam, you are hit with a mountain of literature. It can honestly feel like you're drowning in papers before you've even had a chance to start swimming. You know, it's a classic problem for pretty much every researcher out there. But what we're going to do today is transform that feeling of being completely overwhelmed into a feeling of being overprepared. The key isn't just to work harder, it's to build a much smarter, more strategic system to handle it all. And this slide really nails the shift we're talking about. On the left, that's the old way, right? Manual keyword searches, endless reading lists. It's slow, and let's be honest, pretty frustrating. But on the right, that's the new way. We're talking AI-powered questions, visual maps so you can actually see the connections, and a workflow that's fast and super focused. So let's break down exactly how to get there. First up, let's tackle the biggest time sink of them all, finding the right papers. We are going to use AI to search smarter, not harder, and honestly discover literature in a way you probably haven't before. Now, what's fascinating about this first step is that it's actually about less organization, not more. The idea is to create what's called a dump folder in your reference manager, something like Zotero or Mendeley. And the goal is simple. Just capture everything, anything that looks even remotely relevant. Don't filter, don't read it deeply, just save it. We'll sort it all out later, I promise. So how do you fill that dump folder so quickly? Well, with some really powerful AI tools. For instance, you've got Elicit, which lets you ask a direct research question, and it gives you a summary of the top papers right away. Then there's Consensus, which uses these great visual indicators to show you a paper's findings at a glance. And Undermind, wow, this one does something I've never seen before. It actually estimates what percentage of all the relevant literature it thinks it's found. That is incredible for knowing when your search is actually done. Okay, so our dump folder is full, but it's probably a chaotic mess, right? And that brings us to the next phase, taking all that chaos and turning it into clarity by visually mapping out the entire research landscape. And the key to unlocking this whole map is finding what we'll call a seed paper. This is just one single, highly relevant paper that becomes the starting point for your entire exploration. Think of it like the anchor for everything else that's about to come. And this is exactly where a tool like Research Rabbit comes in. You just feed it your seed paper, and it generates these amazing interactive maps. You can visually explore every paper it references, see who cited it later, find similar articles. It's basically like going down a planned, very productive rabbit hole. And here's the best part, which Andy Stapleton points out here. Research Rabbit, one of the most powerful visualization tools you can get your hands on, is completely free for all of its core features. I mean, that kind of access is an absolute game changer for any researcher, no matter what your institution's budget looks like. Another fantastic visual tool is Connected Papers, and it has this incredibly useful feature. It takes your seed paper and it splits the entire research landscape into two categories: prior works, so the foundational papers it was built on, and derivative works, the newer papers that cited it. In just a single glance, you can see both the history and the future of a research idea. It's brilliant. So we've found our literature, we understand the landscape. Now it's time to actually create something new. This final phase is all about the tools that help take you from a blank page all the way to a published work that has a real impact. And this is what that creation workflow can look like now. Step 1, writing. You can use a tool like Writeful, which is an AI trained on millions of academic papers to help perfect your language. Step 2, formatting. Penelope.ai is a total lifesaver. It automatically checks your manuscript against specific journal requirements. Step 3, visuals. Need figures? BioRender is basically Canva for science, letting you create professional visuals in minutes. And finally, step 4, sharing. To make sure your work actually gets seen, Kudos helps you build a simple web page to maximize its reach. It is a complete pipeline, from draft to impact. Okay, let's pull all of this together. What we've just walked through isn't just a random list of apps. It's a complete, modern toolkit. And it's built on 4 key pillars that can really redefine your entire research workflow.
So let's recap those 4 pillars. First, we have AI searching to ask direct questions and get answers fast. Second, visual mapping, so we can see the connections between papers, not just read endless lists. Third, efficient crafting, where we automate all the tedious parts of writing and design. And finally, strategic sharing, to make sure all our hard work actually finds its audience. See? This isn't just a collection of tools, it's a whole new system.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. In the past, the process we've just covered could take months, sometimes even years of painstaking work. But now, with this AI-powered toolkit, the barriers between a question and an answer, well, they're lower than they have ever been. So the only real question left is, what will you discover next?